You are now listening to a member of the Disney Podcast family. Head over to Disney Podcast Family on Instagram to see all the latest posts for this show and links to other great Disney podcasts.
Welcome back to Miles from Main Street. This week we are talking about Disney's popcorn buckets, among other topics. Glad to have you.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejados de las
This here's a wild ride in the
Hello, we are back. That is Stuart over there, and I am Brian. Great to have you back, Stuart. How you doing?
Good. Thank you for taking over last week. It's a bad time up in northern Wisconsin.
Yeah, you were dealing with a little illness over there, but
Yeah.
doing
Nothing a 5-day trip can't solve or can't fix, right? 5-day park trip.
7-8 day park trip.
Sure, why not? I mean, you got one of those in your pocket I can have because we need one.
Sorry, I need one myself.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so please go like and subscribe to the show on your podcast app or on YouTube, and be sure to share it with your friends and family. Remember, new episodes every Tuesday, and on Fridays, find the Disney Dash, a short form podcast with my daughter Mia, where she is talking Disney from A to Z from a kid's perspective. Stuart, you feeling better?
I mean, marginally. There's a lot more snow on the ground than there was
Oh my
2 weeks
goodness,
ago.
there's been so much snow.
So much snow. And it's funny because I'm looking at all these like live feeds from, Florida, and there's people going to the beach. And I'm looking outside and there's snow on the ground, and those two things don't work for me.
Yeah, nice
So
80-degree weather going on down there, and
yeah.
we're seeing
Yep.
half the snow.
Yes, and I'm very aware you can't shovel snowshine or shovel sunshine. I get it. But there's some days though I would move down there, and there's some days that I would not want to move down there.
Yeah, I completely agree. I saw a video the other day, guy driving to work, and he kept saying, "No earthquakes, no fires, no hurricanes, no big spiders."
Yep, no alligators is what I will say that constantly while I'm, shoveling snow. No alligators, no earthquakes.
Yeah,
I mean, I've lived through earthquakes, so earthquakes aren't the worst things. They're just a little bit of shaking and then you're done. But alligators, tornadoes, those are pretty bad.
yeah. Well, we get our tornadoes here and there, but
Yeah.
we don't need that.
The
We don't need
the
an
worst.
alligator tornado.
That's right. Don't need a Sharknado. Never need a Sharknado. The worst thing about a hurricane, though, or I guess a tornado, is that they cut the TV out and they tell you, "Oh, TV's, there's a tornado warning." Nothing happens,
Yeah,
but you miss the end of American Idol, which that happened to me before.
American Idol. Yeah, that's what I'd be worried about missing.
Well, that's what we were worried about missing when we were in Tornado Alley, but now in the days of streaming, you could just watch it whenever you wanted. But this was before that.
That's
This
true.
was before Netflix. Jeez.
Oh,
Mold.
I'm sure they're sending out those little round, flat, like frisbee things. Do you remember those?
That you put your drinks on, right?
Yeah. After you put them into the machine that played it on your TV, though.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Yeah. We
Yeah.
actually just lowered our Netflix subscription because I was tired of paying for how much it was and not watching it. So now we're not going to watch it, and I'm not going to pay for as much for it. So that's nice.
I feel like I should do that as well. I keep wanting to just get rid of it. And now that Cobra Kai is done, I don't know that I need to keep it.
Yeah, I mean, At one point in time, it was where you got all your Disney movies, right? And now you have Disney Plus, and so you don't need that. At
Right.
one point in time, Moana was the most streamed thing on Netflix. If you
It's
can believe that.
consistently been in the top 5 every year.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's why we got Moana 2.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which have you seen that yet?
I have.
Oh,
It was
okay. What?
awful at the beginning, but you could tell that they had started making it for TV and then turned and made a movie out of it instead.
And did not hire Lin-Manuel Miranda to write some songs. They hired somebody else.
Well, he was busy doing something else. What is the movie he's been working on?
Mufasa.
Yeah, he was busy with Mufasa, so
Say it again.
couldn't get him to
Mufasa.
come. But I mean, ooh,
See, that's why you brought me onto this show, is because I have the random, pop culture references that help out,
there
that
you go.
bring some spice to life. Um,
That's the only
yeah,
reason.
that's it. That's the only reason. So okay, so Moana 2. How was Moana 2?
So I think the story is good. The beginning had me a little bored. But as they got into it, and I think like the second half, the half that they said, "Oh, I guess we're making a movie now." Um, I think it works, and it left me excited for a Moana 3.
Oh,
There is an end credit scene out on Marvel. But yeah, stick around and watch that. Those darn Marvel movies, they've got me staying for every movie, for the credits of every movie now.
okay, to be fair, that was something I did for a long time anyway, because all of those people worked on the movie and they deserved to have their name looked for. Plus, it was fun to sit there and go, "Can I pronounce that name?" And it was a joke my wife and I did. Oh, what about Oliver Boyles or something like that? So I always would stay till the end credits anyway, till the lights came up anyway, because that was part of the respect I'd give the filmmakers. But now that Marvel's trained us to not get out of our seats until the very, very last possible second, I think it's good. You can tell the new Marvel. You can tell the people who've never seen a Marvel movie before, because they'll leave as soon as the end credits start rolling, and you can tell the people who are like indoctrinated and have seen everything and know what's going on,
Yeah,
because
right.
they're gonna not get up. So
Stick around.
speaking of which, apparently Captain America: Brave New World has one. It's at the end. I haven't seen it yet because I can't, because of my head cold. But yeah, it has one. So if you go to see Captain America: Brave New World this week, make sure you stay for the end.
Well, it is a Marvel movie, right?
There you go.
Oh,
It
well,
is a Marvel movie.
yeah, I wouldn't doubt. Um, it seems to be doing well for an opening weekend.
Yes,
These are not
which
great.
is you know reviews for Marvel movies have been, how shall we say, mixed. Sometimes the fans love them and the critics hate it, and sometimes the fans hate it and the critics are like, "This is pretty good." And so I don't. I mean, like what you like, right? I think, like what you like, see what you want to see, and don't listen to people on the internet. Says
Right.
the guy who's talking to you on the internet. Um,
Present company excluded. Listen to us.
President, listen to us, yes.
Yeah.
Who tells you to like what you like? So I guess we're okay. But that was, so when we review movies over on Welcome to Level 7, which you guys should go check out their coverage of Captain America 4. Brave New World, because I won't be on it because I haven't seen it yet. But when we cover the movies, we try to talk about it and take it on its own merits, and not try to read anything into it. And what was the presentation they were telling us? What's the story they're trying to tell us? Did it work in this format? Did it move the overall Marvel story forward? All of those things. And for the most part, most of those Marvel movies did. There was a couple notable exceptions. Thor 2, I'm looking at you. But for the most part, it was 10 years of the Marvel Cinematic Universe was a pretty beefy undertaking. And Endgame proved that you could wrap it all up in a nice bow. So we'll see how it goes.
Now, I think a lot of people have fatigue.
Oh
but
yeah.
right now, I don't know that Marvel has a cohesive storyline that they're pushing.
I don't think they do. I think there's a lot of problems right now with Marvel and what's going on. I think they flew too close to the sun with trying to launch everything for Disney Plus. So Falcon and Winter Soldier and She-Hulk were both good, but they were launch titles, and so they didn't know how to put them out into the market, or what the best way to put them out into the market, I guess, was. WandaVision was great, but Agatha was.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you had something like what was the one with the Native American girl?
Echo.
Echo. Echo was amazing,
And
nobody watched it.
Yeah.
But I think that sets up the new Daredevil thing. So, and then Hawkeye I thought was a beautiful love letter to what we'd seen for 10 years. So I think there was a lot of fumbling as far as those releases went. I also think that they picked some pretty obscure titles that was like, why are we making a show out of this? Why aren't we doing something like having Steve Rogers go back and return all the Infinity Stones like that? I think that would have made a great 9-episode miniseries that people would have glommed onto. But who knows? But then
I could also see Marvel saying a lot like what DC has done and saying, sorry, the core Avengers are hands off for TV. DC's done the same. Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, sorry, they aren't on TV. You only get movies with them.
Well, that was
mandate for a long time. So it could have been that same thing, is that, sorry, you can't have them. They can only be in movies. And so they went with Falcon and Winter Soldier. They went with Wanda. They went, I could see that being one of the things that they did.
Well, that was the thing that happened back when Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was on TV. And they had, there was basically two competing camps, right? The film camp and the TV camp. And the TV camp was off making Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all of the Netflix stuff. So Daredevil and Jessica Jones and Luke Cage and Iron Fist and the other one, I can't remember. And so, or then the Defenders, because that was the four that came together in Defenders. And those were those were great. Iron Fist excluded. Those were amazing. And but the problem is the guy who was in charge of TV and the guy who was in charge of film did not get along. And so when you had something like the Winter Soldier crossover, where on Tuesday we had our episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and we were all happy with Hydra, and oh no, what's going on with all that, and then Hydra invades S.H.I.E.L.D. in Captain America Winter Soldier. Sorry, spoilers. And then the aftermath of that next Tuesday, and you had that crossover. I mean, that would be amazing if they could do something like that. But because it was so rough and tumble, and they never actually knew where they stood as far as the greater cinematic universe on the TV side, we'll never see that stuff again. So I can see that being a situation where DC does, like DC, they don't, the Avengers stay on the films, but I'd also love to see a 9-episode miniseries like Steve Rogers returning all the Infinity Stones. I think that would go really well. But we'll see. We'll see. Now it's all under one roof. Kevin Feige has charge over it all. So if he can get basically what I think has happened, if there's a lot of tech bros, money is involved, and so I think if they can get the money situated to where they can make these interconnected things along the line, you're going to have a situation where you're going to be able to watch something on Disney Plus on Monday, go to the theater on Friday, and then have the resolution of it back on Monday. But I don't know if audiences necessarily like that. I like that. I think that's very cool. But I also realize that I might be a Venn diagram of one. So,
Well, I can tell you that I like the idea of it, but I'm not one to go running out to the theater
yeah,
that weekend, so I don't know that I would necessarily be in that grouping that would, have my head blown off because they just did all these things, right?
right.
So,
In
um,
fact, on that other podcast, I remember because I used to listen to that podcast. I remember getting out of the theater, calling the voicemail line, and being, "Oh my gosh, did you guys just watch this? It was so amazing!" And it was like this community thing that was really cool. And then we had a very much long, prolonged, forced community thing, and I think now we're kind of done with communities. Not not really, but I think we're really tired of trying to always be connected all the time, and so maybe there's a little bit of revamp to that. Um,
it seems that people want to be in person a little more again.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that's true.
yeah.
Um, but I don't know of any Marvel popcorn buckets. Do you?
No, but I did see that they just released for what do we call this Captain America movie, a shield that is a sipper.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's a Captain America shield that you can put around your wrist, and
Hmm.
at the top of, if you have it on, at the top there's a little flip top to open up the zipper, and it
And you're
actually
walking around.
does look really cool. Like,
I, at Hollywood Studios and Avengers Campus, they have an Iron Man glove that holds a bottle, and
mhm,
that you use that to sip. I think they also have like Hulk fists that do the same thing.
mhm.
Um, that's cool, but like, what if I want to put the drink down and use my hand?
That's the thing, is that, yeah, I don't know that you're, and I couldn't tell from the video if you're able to set it down or not. I'm
Right.
not into the sippers. I think some of them are really cool. I do have one. It's a 100th anniversary Mickey. Um, I just had to have that because we were there and whatever. But um, otherwise, I tend to not get the sippers. I do get the popcorn buckets when I can. I don't typically run out and have somebody pick one up for me when they come out. I just kind of go, "Oh, that's really cool. Too bad I'm going to miss out on that one." Uh, but I do have, a number of popcorn buckets. This
So
week,
let me
go
go
ahead.
ahead. I was gonna say, let me ask, because I am not a popcorn bucket person, but maybe that's because I carry everything already as it is, right? So when I go, I usually have a child on my shoulders, a backpack, some sort of coat around my waist because the child didn't want to carry their coat, and many, many other things. Um, and all in Florida heat, right?
Mhm.
The last thing I want to do is also have a lanyard with a popcorn bucket that's swashing all over the place and hit me in the face and all that sort of stuff. So talk to me about like why you like popcorn buckets.
It's not for practicality in the park. That is for certain. They
Okay.
are decoration items in my house. I have a lamp in the corner of my living room that has shelves on it, and it's 3 shelves, and there are 3 popcorn buckets on it. That's it. My dining room is all Mickey and Disney, and there's popcorn buckets decorating that as well. From the Skyliner bucket to a lot of the buckets I have are the balloon Mickey balloon shape
Mhm.
that we have. So that silver shiny silver one that they did for the 100th anniversary of the Mickey balloon thing, I've got that next to my TV in the living room. The other side is the aforementioned Mickey sipper. We picked up the Figment one from last year, where it's the Imagination Pavilion.
Mhm.
We've picked up many Halloween and Christmas popcorn buckets that are definitely used for decorations during the seasons. Now, to your point of not wanting to carry this junk around all day, don't do that. I am blanking right now on which one it was. My daughter got the Stitch popcorn bucket that is Halloween. I think we bought that at the end of the night so we could take it home. And then the other one was one that was exclusive to the party and the Halloween party, and I passed on it that night that we were at the party. But then we were in Magic Kingdom on the 30th, and they were selling them in the park. They must have just had way too many, even though they still had a
Mhm.
party on Halloween. They were selling them in the park for a couple of days leading up to that. So it was closing time, and I found a popcorn stand that was selling it and grabbed it. And I wish I think it was Mickey Mouse of some sort doing something. I can't remember, but I know that when Halloween comes around, I'm going to pull out and be like, oh, and I'm going to tell the story of how I bought it at the end of the night, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
yeah.
But that's kind of how we handle it. They're a collectible. I don't want
Mhm.
to carry it around all day. I have bought them when I see them and carried them around all day, and then I get home and I get mad. I've got a beautiful balloon one that's Steamboat Willie, and it's got a scratch on the front of it because I carried it around too much during the day. But at that time, I still had a stroller I could put it in. So,
Yeah.
you
I
gotta.
mean, that is an argument for the lockers and like, okay, I'm gonna get the popcorn bucket, put it in the locker, and it's gonna be safe. And but then you're walking all the way back to the lockers, and then you're walking all the way back to the thing, and then I don't get it. But that doesn't mean I can't. Like I do have, my Robin Hood Funko backpack that I was pointing to in the video that if you're watching you can see. Like I would carry that around, but I don't think I'd put a popcorn bucket inside of it because there's stuff inside of it, right? But also popcorn is salty and I can do you eat the popcorn? Does it come filled? That's I guess the next question. Does it come filled?
You usually get a choice. If you
Okay.
want it filled, they'll give you a box. Like the cheapest version you can get popcorn as is in a box. And you can think about going to the circus as a kid and getting a box of popcorn. Like that's
Okay.
what they have. You can do that, or you can buy, they do have the $10 bucket that is just the circular bucket with a cool graphic around them. I've had to buy a couple of those too to keep people happy. My family does enjoy their popcorn, so we do eat it. And
I
at
mean,
$2.50, whatever it is, refill, I don't care. you know,
I mean, popcorn's good. It's yummy. Don't get me wrong.
well, and when it's got pixie dust on it, it's even better. So
What is that like confetti or something? What is I
it's,
mean, I know what
it's the
pixie dust
stuff
is,
that
but
Tinkerbell uses to help people fly, right? That's
right. So are your children and family flying around after they eat this popcorn?
no. I just say you know,
Oh,
Mickey makes it
okay.
better than anyone can at home, and
Got it.
therefore we must eat it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Now I know in like China and Tokyo and the Asian parks, popcorn buckets are bananas.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes they're even made out of bananas. Have you guys ever had any of like the flavored popcorns?
No, no, we haven't been overseas, and like I said, I don't typically go searching it out online. I know, like, so I'm sure people that are listening have very good knowledge of the first Figment popcorn bucket and what happened when they released that, and what a disaster it was. In case you don't know, really quick, they put it out. People were standing in line for like 6 or 7 hours waiting to grab,
Yeah.
and it ended up on eBay. Many of them
Hmm.
ended up on eBay for $100. Um, Insanity, if you ask me. They then released it again the next year, but they did a virtual queue for it, so people weren't waiting around for them. Um,
And they
it's
limited it too, right? You can only buy two or something like that.
right, yeah. They have limited it, but the resellers get around that. Hey, I'll give you $20 to come over here and stand in line with me and buy
Yeah.
this with me. Um, but you can I haven't actually checked this in a while, but I know I checked it with the Main Street Electrical buckets that they did a couple years ago. They're now on eBay for $25,
Yeah.
$20. And it's not something I'm going to go running out and paying top dollar to get something because I've seen them come down. Yeah, sure, if I want one, I'll go grab it. Still, I haven't done that. But if it is something that I want, then yeah, I might go grab it on eBay a couple years later, right? Like,
Well, it's also nice to have like a set of it, right? So you have the 100th anniversary Mickey sipper and popcorn bucket, and like that's kind of cool. Um, but again,
he's lost it.
excuse me. But again, uh, y- what are we? What are I mean? Like, yeah, it's cool, I guess, but it's just another thing. But I'm all for things. I mean, look,
You have things. I was gonna
I
say
have lots of things.
you have things
It's
back
just different
behind you.
things. Just different things.
Yeah, I mean everybody collects something.
Right, right. And I have seen some of your popcorn buckets, and they are pretty fantastic. And I appreciate them. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. But do
I've
you collect
seen
pins?
I've seen your Lorcana cards, and I just don't get it.
And
I just don't get
oh yeah, they're on that side of the computer.
it.
In fact, I just pulled one yesterday that was crimped on the bottom, so it was like offset cut, and so now I have to figure out how to turn that one around for a little bit of profit because
Oh,
people
I
will.
would think you would want to get your money back. Sounds like a defect.
It is a defect. The problem is my money's well. So we went to I went to my local game store. They had a pack rush event. Pack rushes, you buy 2 packs, you open them up, you don't look at them, you take a couple a couple of cards, and basically you play the game blind without knowing what's in your deck, and you just go against each other. And it was a very low cost, and they gave away a bunch of cards and whatever. And one of the cards that I had, when I pulled, had crimping on the bottom. Excuse me. And so the idea is that there are collectors out there who won't really care about the card, but the fact that it's crimped, and so they're always buying the defects and stuff like that. So yes, I will get my money back for it, but I didn't actually pay anything for it. So there's that. But also, I'm gonna get extra money for it. Somebody else will give me more money for it.
Isn't
So
it interesting
hopefully,
how things can have a defect and
yep,
people pay extra
yep. Like I
when
bet if you bought a popcorn bucket that had an extra like rivet or something for the strap or whatever, people would be all over that.
I don't know. I don't know if there's that going on in the popcorn bucket world, but not that I've seen anyway.
You never know.
I mean, when I collect things, I collect it because I like it. I don't collect it
Yeah.
for value, so I'm not out there looking at pricing and stuff. I did that with Funko Pops when
Hmm.
they first came out, and I've talked about that on here before. I've been through my third purge of Funko Pops,
Yeah.
and when I first years ago started buying them, and people were like, "You have to keep it in the box." I'm like, this is a flimsy piece of cardboard. Why are we worrying about the condition that they are in? And there was people in both camps, and I guess people that like the box won. So I mean, I don't know. You could have sold one to somebody in the box and it was broken and they wouldn't care. Like,
It was still in the box.
it
Yeah.
was still in the box.
Funkos are. Again, it's not my thing. I guess I like it. I have all the Robin Hood Funko Pops. Those, but it's Robin Hood, right? That was a special thing. The Disney Funko Pop, the Walt Funko Pop, I kind of want, but only because it's Walt, right?
Yeah.
Um, a Mickey Funko Pop would be cool, but I already have plastic Mickey figurines, so I guess I don't get it. But
I wish I could show you some of this room that I'm in right now. Maybe I'll get it cleaned up and do a little video tour to throw out on social media somewhere. But I have a lot of things that
mhm.
that I have, and right now, I think the biggest thing I'm trying to get rid of is probably my comics. I've been doing those for 15 years and gotta get rid of those. I used to do Pez. I was heavy into Pez, and
Mhm.
I've pretty much gotten rid of all. I had a couple thousand of them, and they're gone.
But at
It's
some
just
point
it's
in
hard to
time,
rotate through these things.
it brought you joy, right?
Well, of course, yeah. And when you
Yeah.
lose interest and you don't really have the joy and it becomes a job, then
Hmm.
it's time to move on.
Hmm.
So,
And hopefully you're not out of a whole bunch of money for it. But yeah, sometimes it's time to move on.
yeah. But, getting back to the popcorn buckets, they are fun. And by limiting it to getting something when I'm there versus getting something
Hmm.
that I find on the internet, that's more fun. It keeps it limited for me
Hmm.
and it doesn't burn me out as quick. Um, I have a popcorn bucket that we bought at Disneyland during the Sweethearts night that it's just a simple red balloon bucket that they printed a little Valentine's thing on it, and
Aw.
it's like, but it's awesome, and I can look at it and go, I know where I got that, and that was a special
Hmm.
time, and so that's what they are for me.
Can you can you look at every popcorn bucket and know exactly when and where you bought it?
Oh boy. I think most of them I can. Um, I don't have like 300 of them. I used to, what back in the day when my memory was still better. I used to, I said I had 2000 Pez. Like I could go out and be like, yeah, I already have that one, and it might be something I bought 10 years ago, and I could look at it and say, that's how I acquired it. Um,
Hmm.
Nowadays, with getting older and how memory works,
Hmm.
I question it a little bit. But I do have, yeah. I could probably look at most of
Well,
them.
that's the joy it brings you is looking at them and going, I remember where we were. I was in Disneyland at the
Right,
Sweetheart Dance, and
right.
I was there with my beautiful wife, and we were having date night at Disneyland, and that's cool, right? Um, that's what you want. I so when I have pins, I don't think I've showed. anybody my pin collection, maybe I'll have to do that sooner or later. But I have a bunch of pins, and there's several that I can point to and go, okay, that one I got at because we built a lightsaber, and that one is the 50th anniversary, and that one, the other half my wife has, and that one, and all that sort of stuff. And those are the types of memories that I have with those, and that's really cool. That one we got on a cruise, and that one we only, you could only get Castaway Key, and those sorts of things, right? Um, so I'm not getting down on anything with popcorn buckets. I like popcorn buckets. It's just not a thing that I can collect, because if you saw this side of the camera, you'd go, yeah, Stuart, you probably shouldn't collect anything else. You probably should just stop spending money you don't have to buy stuff.
Well, and I think, that's something that people just do. Not
Yeah.
everyone. And there's also a phase in your life that I think you go through a phase of, I don't want to say hoarding, but collecting things and bringing things into your house. And at some point you get to a point where it's like, I don't need all this junk anymore. Let's get rid of it. And I've reached that point in my life that it's like, do I really need to add more stuff to my house? And do I have somewhere to put it? Some friends of ours, thank you so much to our friends for giving us 2 Loungefly backpacks last weekend. I know exactly where they're going to go, and I can't wait to hang them. The problem is if we were to get any more, I don't know that we're going to have anywhere to put them. The ears I posted. So I did post this on social media, the Loungefly wall that I worked on. And if you saw that, those 2 will go on the last row, the bottom row, that all the room we have left on that wall. But I also posted a picture of ears, the headband ears that we have collected. And it was just a single picture of one corner of them lining the ceiling, basically going around the top of our living room. I have one spot left that I can fit ears. I think my wife counted it. We're around 45 pairs, and that's just how they fit in the room, right? So I know people have many more than that, but it gets to the point that, like right now, have you seen the new Sorcerer Mickey Sorcerer Mickey set for Fantasia that just came out? Go check out the Disney store online. You're going to find some awesome stuff that has Sorcerer Mickey on it. My favorite version of Mickey. It'll say the most magical place on earth on it for Disney World. They've done the Spirit jersey, they've done the ears, they've done the Loungefly, they've done t-shirts and hats and all this great stuff. The ears are amazing. I think they might be the best that they've ever done. And we have looked at them on the store and gone, we don't have a trip planned. Do we really need them right now? I don't know. I might just have to go buy them anyway. But
yeah, it's when you start, not to get too deep on this, but when you start collecting stuff, are you blessing the house you live in? Are you blessing your life? Is it enriching your life? And there's a fine line. Yes, obviously, if you're finding joy in these things, great. But if it's becoming overwhelming, like you said, if it's becoming a job, then maybe not so great. And if you're making the choice between buying a set of ears and paying your gas bill, maybe you need to rethink that choice. I mean, I'm not trying to, again, don't listen to people on the internet, but where was I going with? Oh, buy all the stuff. Just keep buying it. Do that. That's way more fun.
just buy the stuff.
Just buy the stuff.
Just buy the stuff. Yeah, as we keep talking, it reminds me that when we first started the show, we did have a few people on that told us about their collections. And so I believe it was like episode 11 or 12, right in that time. And we did a two-parter. One was with 2 or 3 other people that had some great collections. So go check that out if you're interested in talking more about collections. And then we also did an interview with Paul Bodos, who lives up in Canada and has probably the largest collection of Mickeys. And we had a great interview with him, telling us about all of his Mickey stuff. He actually did a thing with D23 where they kind of documented his collection and talked to him about his collecting and stuff too. So that was a fun talk with him. So something more to listen to if you're looking for more of us and don't want to go back to number 1, and which I wouldn't do. But it, you know, we're coming up on 5 years, Stuart. I can't believe that.
Are you serious? That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It's been a
That's
while.
awesome.
Short 5 years.
Short 5 years.
Yeah. So, like I know people collect a lot of things. I have always stuck to the fact that I do not collect pins, yet I have a large pin board full of them. And I will tell you that I am also trying to get all the pins for the places that I stay in or will stay in, and pins for any holidays that we are there for.
Pins are fun. I think there's like everything, right? You want to do it for the memory. You don't want to do it for just random pin things. Although when you start collecting all the little sets, you're like, oh, this little group of pins forms a puzzle. That's really cool, you know. And then you just fall down that rabbit hole pretty easily.
Yeah.
It's also something you can do while you're in line. I found that you get the little Allen wrench and you screw backs, and you're sitting there fighting with those things while you're standing in line for
Buying
Rise of the
those
Resist.
pickaxe with the little Allen wrench was the worst decision I ever made, because I went and lost the Allen wrench like right away.
Oh, well, yeah, that there you go. Once you've done that, you're nope, no
Yeah,
more.
a friend of ours actually pointed us in the direction of some that you don't need an Allen wrench. That it'll just you buy them on Amazon or whatever, and you put it on, and there's a mechanism inside of that back that will grab onto the pin
Oh,
itself.
nice.
And then when you go to pull it off, there's a first part that has to be pulled before the second part will release. And it is a little difficult to get them off, but it's much better than those little locking pin backs they sell at Disney, and they're
Well,
a lot cheaper than those too.
the
So
locking pin backs they sell at Disney is the ones we get were from Amazon, and they were tiny little screws with tiny little backs on them that you had to fight with. But the rubber backed ones just aren't. They'll leave on faster than you can say anything.
right, yeah, and they I've lost pins on lanyards because of that, not realizing that I would lose them, and then it's like, wait a minute, where'd that one go? I just got it, or one that you wanted to trade and now it's gone and whatever. So yeah. No, this is good stuff, from popcorn buckets to collecting to
Marvel.
Marvel.
I want to hear about other collections. So if you're a listener and you've got a collection of stuff, I want to hear about it. Send us a video. Send us a text.
I'm particularly interested in the collections you have that you don't collect, like my pins.
Like his pins, yeah.
Yeah, let us hear about it. That'd be great.
Melissa Pilgrim is our choice for your next Disney vacation. You can reach her at amagicalpilgrimage@gmail.com. We thank her for her support.
All right, well, thank you everyone for watching and listening. Stuart, thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you.
Remember, episodes every Tuesday. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. And as a bonus, leave us a comment and we'll read it on the show. Hey, better yet, Find the link to text the show in our show notes, and we'll read that on the show. But as we like to say, some live close,
but others don't.
so let's talk about it. We'll see you next time on Miles from Main Street.